This is another episode of Standup Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special bonus show. Hey, one of my favorite guys to have on my podcast. You've heard him many times. He's even on my Magic Hat podcast. He's been on Comedy Appetizers, but he's a longtime regular on this podcast, Standup Comedy, host and MC. Why? Because he's one of my best friends in the business and such a successful comic, by the way, comic magician. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Larry Wilson. Larry, so great to have you back on the show.
Always my pleasure.
And here in the studio, which is extra nice.
Yeah.
And the reason you're here in the studio, I want to make sure our audience knows you have your own podcast.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. What's it called?
It's called How to Talk to Humans.
How to Talk to Humans. What a great title. And because of your show business background, you're all about communication.
Yes, I am. And in fact, this entire podcast is geared around my alternative identity as the founder of Wilson Method Communications Training. And it's, like everything else in my career, took me completely by surprise that people were so interested in it.
Well, what's interesting is that you've been a 4-decade successful comic magician. You do large stage shows. You do a lot of large corporate events, clean, funny, magical, and you turned your talents and knowledge on communication into the Wilson Method, which is a corporate course for businesses to help with sales and interactions with employees. You've been very successful with that as well. What brought you to the podcasting world?
Well, what a loaded question this is. You did, Scotty Dog. Scott was talking to me about how he thought with the advent of the Wilson Method, how I was doing more and more stuff online, and I was doing 2-day boot camp trainings in person. He said, you should really be doing a podcast. I said, yes, I've been thinking about it.
And of course, in my entrepreneurial world, there's no thinking, there's just doing.
That's right.
And so we teamed up. Yeah, no big secret. I'm his producer, and I produce the podcast, How to Talk to Humans. But it stars Larry Wilson and really is an opportunity for you. And I think you found it rewarding to share some of the knowledge and stories behind that knowledge.
Well, only rewarding because of the feedback I've been getting. I talk to myself, in the shower all the time. There's no feedback of any kind. So I have all kinds of a circus going on in my head, but it's so gratifying when I hear from people who, to my astonishment, are saying, oh, yeah, I subscribe. I listen to it every week when I'm out running, or I listen to it when I'm gardening, or it kind of blows my mind, if you want to know the truth. But there are apparently a lot of people out there who have an interest in becoming better communicators.
Well, I think that's what gave me the idea to suggest to you is that you are such a good communicator and such a strong persona on stage as comic magician Larry Wilson, that when you shared with me your story of the Wilson Method and what knowledge and training you've brought to the corporate world, it just dawned on me that everybody should have this advice. And podcasting is a great way to share knowledge, share stories, and sometimes entertain, and reach people that are interested in that niche. It may not be for everybody, but there are people out there that want to become better communicators for business, for sales, or even in their relationships with family and spouses and stuff. And How to Talk to Humans really touches on all that.
Well, thank you. Modesty forbids me from agreeing with you too strenuously. But I, of course, think you're absolutely right. You're preaching to the choir. It's funny, too, because I see people around me becoming sensitized to this. if I'm watching television with my wife now, someone on television in some drama will say something or do something, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, that's bad communication. That's really
bad writing.
Right.
Bad communication.
That's what it really is, right? I'll look over at my wife, and my wife is giving me this look like, oh, I know what you're thinking. And I'll say, yep, that's right. You got it. That's right.
Well, sadly, I think in today's world, everybody, including myself, can use a lesson and some training on being a better communicator. And I'm just thankful that I'm a part of this team putting How to Talk to Humans out there. So ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, it's on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, you name it. It's called How to Talk to Humans, starring Larry Wilson. And Larry, if somebody wanted to reach out to you about the podcast or the Wilson method, how best could they reach you or find information about both?
Well, if I were them, I would secret myself in some dark interior closet and then just pray for something good to happen.
Or
failing that, they could always reach out to me at larry@wilsonmethod.com, and that will definitely get you a response. You can also just go to my website, wilsonmethod.com. You'll find all kinds of Wilson Method-centric sort of things there.
To be clear, is it thewilsonmethod.com or wilsonmethod.com?
Which would you like it to be?
I just want to be, I'm taking your training
Yes.
and saying it's important to be succinct and clear.
Well, I couldn't have put that better myself. I'm only teasing you because I own both domains.
Oh,
And
well, good for you.
they're aimed at the same site. So if you remember wilsonmethod.com, that will get you there. If you think thewilsonmethod.com, that will get you there.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. You thought ahead and made it easy for everyone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, check out the podcast, check out his website. And if you're at a stage, theater, casino, showroom, or anywhere where you see Larry Wilson's Comedy Magic Show, don't hold back. Jump in there. You'll have a great time. Larry, thanks for being on the podcast.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back Sunday with another great show. Hey, thanks for listening. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.